it would vary. I would say it would vary from a segment, it would vary from a situation, it would vary from what you want to do, it would vary from where you want to be. And I'm saying this because I have, this is my experience which talks about, being in the consumer market as well as being in the enterprise space. Now, enterprise space, I would say the approach is more of a customer-oriented approach. The strategy also revolves around the customer only, and there is no two ways about it. Because in enterprise, you're handling a very fixed set of customers with whom you have to live, die, sit, eat, read, do what you want with a very few fixed set of customers. So there, everything and anything that revolves, it is around customer. But when you talk about consumers per se, while the center of focus remains to be the customer, it also depends a lot on the kind of strategy you have in place. And here I would like to, kind of give you an example. While most of you must have heard about what Big Bazaar is, right? Yes. Okay. Big Bazaar, like any other retail, store, was there in the market, and within a short span of time, they did, quite well for themselves. And if you compare them with the other stores, I mean, they were the number one. Then why do they really focus on the customer? But no, I mean, their approach was slightly different. They had the customer in the center of their discussion, and they thought that now this is the time for me to look at what my other peers, other competition is doing, and do something different. And then they launched something called as Sabse Sasta Din. Have you heard about it? Yes. Okay. Now that was, I think, that is where the strategy element comes into play. They are the leaders, they have the customers they want, but again, without losing the sight on the core planning of their strategy, which is the customer, they had something very unique in place, and it was a super hit. And their greed went going up day by day, I would say. They then launched something called as, on 26th of Jan, they launched something called that, and this was an internal strategy then. They launched something called as 26 crores on 26th of Jan. Okay, and that is what was their next level of strategy. So they said that on 26th of Jan we will do 20 crore rupees worth of business. And all the supply chain management, and as Ankit rightly said, the employees, everybody was motivated towards that one singular strategy, which was 26 crores on 26th of Jan. And guess what was the result? How much did they do? Exactly, they did 30 crores, and most of their stores were shut at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So what I'm trying to put here is that while customer remains to be the core, whether it is corporate or whether it is enterprise, strategy definitely will play a very, very important role. And again, as I rightly said in the beginning of this discussion, it will depend on the segment, it will depend on what you want to do and where you want to be. Yeah, that's it from me.
Friends, as we all know that scenario of market and business are day by day changing. As Brigadier says that the customer is king, but I'm in a service industry since last 10 years. We do services of different kinds of product. So from my point of view, I think that the strategy, every strategy which is going to implement, it should be customer oriented. Because customer is not a king right now, it's a god, we can say it. Because without customers, you can't do anything. So that's my opinion on this subject. Thank you.
Good evening, dear panel members and students. Well, when it comes to strategy planning, both the customer and company, I personally believe that both when it comes to strategy planning, both customer and company should be taken care of. Means they should be equally balanced. Like when you enter into a business, like I do accept that every organization, every company is profit centric, but it is how you want to make money. Means what is your focus? Means primarily making money, or you consider money as a byproduct. Like you keep your employees happy, you keep your customers happy, and you are making money. Right? So if strategies are made starting from the home, like I will keep my employees happy. Like as a, Mr. Deshpande was saying when he was speaking on HR issues, like employees at home first should be satisfied. Like if someone joins me, unless and until I deposit something in him or her, I can't expect to withdraw. Like अगर आप account में पैसे नहीं डालते हैं, you want to withdraw with your ATM machine, after third time it will hit your card and as well as it will start shouting. Okay, so if you want to withdraw from anyone, if you want to expect something from your employees, first you need to deposit in him or her. Secondly, when you want good market, if you want good customers, if you want your product or service to sell, of course the strategies should be focused on to making good products, ethical business, good services. If these things are taken into consideration, everything will go smooth and happily. Thank you. Anyone else want to add something to this topic?
Going by what everybody said, right, yes, employees are important, but when you get down to doing business, the first question you ask is, what business am I going to do? What business am I in? To give you a very small example, how a strategy can change. In CI, you can say, I am in the business of making tires, right? So it comes inside out. मेरे को टायर बनाने का है, रबर लेने का है, बनाने का, प्रॉफिट ऐड करने का, बेचने का है, सिंपल, isn't no complications. But if I change my mission to I am in the business of mobility management, my whole outlook to that business changes, right? And then when we talk to customers, if you map every process as a transaction between a giver and a taker and a customer there. So if there is HR, everybody outside to HR is a customer. Correct? That set has another set of customers. So if you keep the customer in the center, whether it is internal or external, you keep him in the core of your business. Every transaction delivers a customer. Every transaction is governed by a customer. And basis that you decide your next steps of how you will do it. And the how, when you keep the customer there, the how will get defined right through your organization. It does not get defined in the boardroom. And strategy does not take place at the boardroom. It goes down step by step till the front line. And if you are a frontline sales guy, I'm sure most our sales heads will understand, when he is interacting with the customer, he is the CEO of the organization there. There is no other CEO. He has to make a split second decision. मैंने अभी इसको convert कैसे करना है? Period. I am the face of Tata or I am the face of Tikona at that point of time. There is nobody else. He does not know Ratan Tata there. Or he will not even know Dhananjay. He knows that frontline guy sitting there who's delivering the service across the table. Period. Right? So if you map every transaction backwards, you will find a customer in every transaction. And that guy becomes the core of your strategy.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will be having a lot of questions. So many of the issues could be covered.
Before that,
Okay.
I would like something to Vishal sir. Well, when you were talking about salesperson sitting to a customer, like I was into sales and marketing from last 10 years. I was there. So what I personally, what is my conclusion about customers are that there are two types of customers. One with mammalian mind and one with reptilian mind. But every customer at the end of the day is a mammalian mind. You can convert that reptilian mind into mammalian mind. Just like snake. When you are in front of a snake, he is very alert, ready to bite you. Means we need to change their mindset from reptilian to mammalian. We need to keep them asking about their hobbies, their interests. We need to appreciate. किसी को भी अपना appreciation खराब नहीं लगता. So we need to convert that reptilian mind to mammalian mind, and after that everything else. Right, sir? Rhythm, sir? Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I'll just answer that question on sales since I started from selling. All right. Customer is या तो कष्ट से मर या वो कस्टमर है, पहली बात. दूसरा, when you sell, I'll give you another example of a very similar thing that you said. I've been a sales trainer for a long time, right? And seller myself. So I sold anything from a ball pen to a car, everything. There was this guy who told me, you know, sir, a customer में खुली वाला कुत्ता होता है. And believe me, that's exactly what he said. Just like you said, you were a little polished in saying mammalian and reptilian and snake and everything. If you're selling and you genuinely want to keep the customer as the focus, you don't need to appreciate him. He needs you as much as you need him. Number one, ground rule for sales. Number two, if you perceive him to be a snake, you will always threaten him. You will never sell to him. Believe me that. And that is the attitude you need to have if you're selling. And selling requires no big degree. It is basic common sense. To give you an example, and this guy in my example has no education. He's a bootlegger in Bombay. You know what a bootlegger is? वो दारू बॉम्बे से लेकर गुजरात में बेचता है. ठीक है? सिंपल, क्रूड. वो जब शुरू करता है अपना काम, उसको नहीं मालूम कि मैं अपना धंधा कहाँ से शुरू करूँगा. लेकिन उसके बाद दो चेले होते हैं जो सुबह आके उसके पाँव दबाते हैं. ठीक है? ये एम्प्लॉयड है. उसको वो पैसा भी देता है, सैलरी भी देता है, मोटिवेशन भी करता है, कमीशन भी देता है, उसका ग्रोथ भी प्लान करता है. Then he gets his stuff, that is his value, takes it across the border, brings it back. Okay, then he grows his business. क्योंकि पहले वो फुटपाथ के खटिया डाल के धंधा करता था. Then he gets into a small room, and then finally becomes a don like Davos or somebody, right? He doesn't have an IIM degree. He doesn't have an MBA degree. He knows how to grow his business. He knows who his customer is. He knows how to keep his internal customer happy, and he's got zero attrition. हम लोग MBA HR करके कुछ नहीं कर पाते. He's got zero attrition. He gives bonus regularly. He gives salary regularly. Right? He sustains it.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Kumar Grady. I have a question. What would be the strategy for a networking kind of business where people work on the basis of commission? Can we say that they are employee of that organization or forthcoming business?
Repeat the question for me. I'm sorry.
What would be the strategy for a networking kind of business where people work on the basis of commission? Can we say that they are employee of that organization or forthcoming businessmen? Because they assume that they are businessmen.
Very interesting. I mean, you're talking about multi-level marketing or?
Yes, sir, multi-level marketing.
Okay. Okay, that depends on your need, I would say, to put it simply. So if your aspiration is to become a businessman, then you would definitely consider, to be a part of that company yet doing your own business. By this I mean that you come across a lot of LIC agents, right? Some of them are crorepati, some of them are just, surviving their own thing. The guys who are actually croropatis and the guys who have actually done well, they have treated that particular business as their own. Okay, so they started small, as Vishal rightly said. They probably started with a khadiya of just doing the multi-level marketing by going door to door. Later on, and I'm giving this as a live example because I know somebody who has become that big in doing LIC business. He's worth a couple of 100 crores now. So I'm saying that it all depends on what you want to be. So if you want to be as big as this gentleman is, and he's actually in a very small town.